Okay, the first thing we're going to do is spray the back of the canvas with some water. The canvas will suck the water right out of the paint, so this will let the paint dry longer and make for blending a lot easier. So we're going to add some gesso to the canvas, and after that we will add some red and then some orange to it. And then we'll add a little white as we get down the canvas to lighten it as it goes down. You'll notice I'm using a 2-inch brush. Okay, so now we're adding the red. And this might be a little bit too much. So we'll probably end up lightening this a little bit later. We'll have to wait to see how it looks. And now we're going to add that orange I was talking about. And now some of the white to start to soften it, lighten it as we go down the page. I'm going all the way down the canvas even though it's not totally needed, but it gives a nice tooth to the canvas with that gesso. Helps the following paint to have something to grab onto. Now we're going to be using a mixture of some purple and blue, fairly dark. And we're going to put in the mountain. This particular mountain doesn't have a lot of detail to it. Uh, there's going to be a fog bank between the front mountain and the back mountain, and then the overall painting will have fog on it as the fog is setting in as the evening rolls along. Now the front mountain has more blue to it than the back mountain did. We're using a little zinc white here. Just to give it the fog look, but not cover up our mountains. The trees in. Doing this ahead of time before we add the green so that some of the trunk will show through. Now we can start painting in the trees. A dark green, like maybe a sap green, would be a good one. You want this first layer rather, to be dark. You'll put a lighter layer on afterwards, and you want the dark to show through. A flat brush works well, and even a fan brush will work well. I personally think the flat brush works better, especially for evergreens. If we were talking about hardwoods, then we'd be wanting like a round brush. So you just keep going. Keep painting in the trees. Don't forget to vary the height and the starting point, higher and lower. Vary it. And oops, we forgot to put in the snow where the trees are going to go. So you better start putting it in here before you get too far. That's my mistake. But at this point, it's won't hurt. You've got plenty of time, and you're going to be going back over the trees anyway with another color. Okay, now that the snow's in, we can continue to add in our trees and just keep going. You want to, like Guy said before, vary the height, and it's a good idea to put one or two trees a bit taller than the others. In this case, the reference photo has it over on the right side over there. We will cut a little farther forward since this is a very repetitive area right here. Okay, now we're going to add the second layer to the trees. We'll take the same green and I'd add a little bit of blue to it and a little bit of white to it. You want about a half value so that it stands out. You don't want to load the brush as much because you're only going to highlight the branches. So you just carefully tap the screen to highlight the branches. Don't get in a rush here. Do it very carefully, otherwise it will show. You won't like it. Okay, now we're going to just bring the top of the mountains back into it. We'll add a little more of the zinc white to define the fog area, and then if your mountains start to lose definition at the top, because we want the top of the mountains to be peeking through the fog. So you're probably going to have to add a little color to them to make them stand out just a bit. We don't want the zinc to cover them up. Now remember, the farther away the trees are, the lighter they should be. The front tree should be the darkest. This will give you your depth of field. Okay, now we're ready to add the snow to the trees. So we want to mix a little bit of blue with our white, regular white, not zinc white. And don't load the brush very much. You just want to tap the branches to where they show white. Some places darker than others, vary it so we don't look repetitive. And once you're done here with the white, you're about done. You'll just go back over and take a look at your painting and make any changes that you think need to be done. But other than that, we're done.